Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, been hearing a little something from two greats in boxing, you right? The best ever, Floyd Mayweather Jr., right? When he's called himself TBE or the GOAT, at least the man has an argument, right? Anybody, if you're over 30 years old and you've seen some of his career and experienced some of it, you will realize there wasn't any close fights there, right? Except for Castillo, right? The first fight, and then there was a shoulder injury in that fight, and that was his closest fight. There's pretty much distance between all fights. A la Terrence Crawford now. We see greatness and we ignore it. But Terrence Crawford, no matter what it is, there's not any close fights. You start looking for, stuff, just dumb stuff like, oh, you see when Mayweather got hit at the end of the round with Maidana. Oh, Sean, your boy, I forget my man's name, who hit him also with the right hand. Shane Mosley, Zab Judah had him. Man, his glove touched the ground. He should have had just anything. Instead of, boy, Floyd Mayweather lost 4 or 5 rounds of that fight. Boy, that fight was close, man. Well, he's got a split decision. It shouldn't have been. The only split decision I can remember was with Canelo Alvarez, and we know what time that was. So, yeah, Floyd Mayweather, man, like him or loathe him, you saw greatness, and we're seeing it right now with Terrence Crawford too. I'm just gonna keep mentioning that because I'm looking at this. I'm like, damn. As a matter of fact, when Terrence Crawford started, I was wanting Gamboa to beat him. I'm a Gamboa fan. You know what I'm saying? But after a while, you're just like, okay, this dude is serious. And then who he wants to fight and what he's trying to do. Like right now, he's trying to fight a undisputed fight with Errol Spence, who's bigger than him. And then if he beat him, to go up again and beat another dude, Jamel Charlo, who's supposed to be in people's top 5 pound for pound, really, right? And go up there and try to mess with that crazy dude, right? Who's way bigger than him and wants him, calling him out, right? I think Terrence Crawford gets scared of somebody. It probably has to be a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight or something before Terrence Crawford be like, have his reservations about fighting somebody. So I'm watching that as a fan. I'm like, I know when I see somebody who wants to fight. So that's crazy. And Floyd Mayweather the same way. But anyway, Floyd Mayweather's been a promoter for a while, Mayweather Promotions, and he's the guy who works with Al Heyman all the time. They got the Showtime boxing and the PBC boxing, and Mayweather has a lot to go on. And the biggest guy there with Errol Spence together and Deontay Wilder together would have to be Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis, if nothing else, is famous, right? He's famous. He's exciting as a fighter, knocks most of his people out, and so he's the man, right? Gervonta Tank Davis, for me, he's got a little Caneloism in him a little bit, right? I know he's awesome and stuff, but just like people will say about the same thing, an argument you have with Canelo. I know he's awesome, but the thing about these guys, what they have similar is, they're awesome, but they're not the best at any division that they're in, categorically. There's still some questions out there. Like if you look at Canelo, was he the best at 154? With a resounding hell no, because he didn't even fight Demetrius Andrade, neither one of the Charlos, right? And others there, but we'll just leave it at those. 160, could have fought Andrade for undisputed. Right? Nah, I ain't gonna do that. And then Jamal Charlo, I ain't fighting him either. I'm gonna get a franchise title. So he wasn't the best there. 168, no, right now. He was given the WBC championship, right? Just given to him. Didn't have to fight for it. And that's David Benavidez. Then he ain't gonna fight David Morrell, the regular champion of the WBA. He ain't fighting them. Those are very dangerous guys. And of course, Demetrius Andrade, who's moving up as well. So we ain't fighting them, so he's not the best there. 168, we keep forgetting, Bivol was to avoid the Benavideses and the Andrades of the world and the Beterbievs at 175. So he's not going to fight Beterbiev, he's not going to fight Gilberto Ramirez, so he fought Bivol, and now Bivol beat him. So that's the deal. Canelo's not the best at any of those divisions. Now, Gervonta Davis, I would say, when he was at 130, we can say he was the best there because Shakur Stevenson wasn't there. So everybody else, I'm giving Gervonta that. He's got to be the best there. But at 135, no. And he could have proved it. There's too many people was at 135. He could have proved it there. And he was fighting others, right? And at 140, he went up there and he fought a regular champion in Barrios. So 135, 140, he's not the best, right? So therefore, him and Floyd Mayweather breaking up right now. I think Floyd Mayweather has maneuvered him real well. up until now. I mean, Mayweather was going to probably, people just, once they hear the name Mayweather, then they freak out. It's similar like Deontay Wilder. It's just like, no matter what it is, you freak out because you don't like him. But he maneuvered him pretty well, a la Canelo Alvarez, who maneuvered Canelo real well. When you're talking about, we're just not going to fight the very best, but we're still going to be regarded as the best. Because when you say Gervonta Davis, people just all of a sudden say like the best. You wouldn't think Gervonta Davis is in a weight division where there's an undisputed champion there, right? So we can't, like his fight with Ryan Garcia, who's very undependable and probably not going to happen, is being hyped as a big fight, and they're in a division where someone's undisputed, and neither one of them fought that guy, undisputed. And the undisputed guy is fighting a guy that neither one of them fight in Lomachenko. You see what I'm saying? So that fight between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis should not be big in any facet. I mean, just anything. Just like it better be on free TV. We can watch it. It's this and that. But pay-per-view, it shouldn't be a pay-per-view fight when another guy is undisputed, got all the belts in your division. And he's fighting the guy who they think is the second best. Gervonta Davis could have fought Lomachenko a long time ago. Now, from Gervonta Davis, I ain't trying to get on him because, I like him too. I'm going to watch his fights, But just things like that. And I'm just thinking, well, now that he's away from Floyd Mayweather, then we can't blame Mayweather on anything else going forward. Because I used to blame Oscar De La Hoya about Canelo Alvarez. I didn't know that Canelo Alvarez had this diva thing. It was himself. Now I understand. I've heard him call Andre a horrible fighter. I've heard him call him that, right? So, and I've seen him do things. I've seen who he wants to fight. He asked to fight Yildirim. He's intrigued on fighting John Ryder. But he just called Demetrius Andrade a horrible fighter. The one that would have gave him $40 million to fight for Undisputed, right? These are the things that are going on. So he was given the franchise title instead of fighting Jamal Charlo. Huge fight in Texas, don't you think? Stadium? So I've seen him ask for stuff now. So Gervonta Davis going forward, I think, is going to need to fight the best in these divisions that he's in, right? So, just so we can find out, is he the very best? Is Gervonta Davis all that? Yeah. Just got to hold off on the bag of chips until he go ahead and get these championships instead of having regular titles. Because regular titles aren't titles. You see what I'm saying? So we have to get him, see if he's going to go up here, maybe fight the Devin Haney versus Lomachenko winner, right? Or if Lomachenko and Haney is close and Haney wins it, it goes up, and then Lomachenko's there and they can fight for the vacant titles. Just got to see Gervonta Davis get into bigger fights in terms of winning the real championship. And then we can anoint him as being this very great fighter. We know he's good. We know people get knocked out. Like that, messing around with this dude. You got to give him props for being able to hold off Isaac Cruz with one hand, basically. That's a la Deontay Wilder, who did the same with Chris Arreola. That people just act like that wasn't a valiant effort to have your hand broke and your bicep torn and fight Arreola with one hand, with your weak hand. We just saw Zach Parker give up, and it was his weak hand, right? It was his weak hand that was broke, not his strong hand like Deontay Wilder. And he gave up against John Ryder. Wilder fought Chris Arreola, right? A rough, tough guy. So, you're looking at things, just look a little bit closer. And when it comes to Gervonta Davis not being with Floyd Mayweather anymore, whatever. Floyd Mayweather has handled his business. He'll find someone else. And let's see if Gervonta Davis is going to get in these, real meaningful title fights. And then we can decide where he's going to be in terms of pound for pound, because I think Gervonta Davis needs to be peaking towards that pound for pound list. You just can't give it, because if you're not going to put Devin Haney in there being undisputed, then you sure as hell can't put him in there. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where that goes in. You ain't put Jamel Charlo in there being undisputed in a very hard division, then you can't put a Gervonta Davis in there. You feel me? So let's see what happens going forward. I think, every relationship comes to an end. It's not a big thing. I think Floyd Mayweather, what he said about it is more power to him and everything. When I met him, he asked for an autograph, and I told him he's going to be a champion one day. Totally respectful of each other. So, it is what it is. I'm not mad at either one of them. I think both of them are great for boxing. So let's see what happens going forward. I'm anxious to see Gervonta Davis in a very, very good fight. This one coming up is not going to be bad, but this guy's moving up in weight, and I still think that Gervonta has an advantage here. But at least it's a pretty good fight, and I think he's going to have to replace Ryan Garcia because that fight's probably not going to happen because Ryan Garcia's involved. Right? Ryan Garcia's involved. There will be some type of shenanigans. Watch. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.